Hey everyone, and welcome to the Reading Nest. I'm Patrick, and today's conversation is a conversation that you want to listen to even after we're done talking. I'm joined by Nickeva Jones and Armando as we discuss one of the toughest battles of their lives. They're here to discuss their book and talk about the healing that they went through as they battled, as Armando battled cancer. And they're here to talk about their story. So welcome to Kiva and Armando.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for coming. I don't want to like jump right in and like get to like the heavy stuff. So, tell me a little bit about yourselves. Armando, like, are you in school? How old are you? Like, what do you do? And mom, what do you do?
I am in school. I'm 8. That's
What do you like to do for fun?
um
You play video games?
no,
No.
I play sports.
Skateboard? What did you say?
I play sports.
You sports? Football?
No,
Basketball?
baseball.
Oh, okay. Okay. Baseball fan. What about you? What do you do, mom?
I am a teacher, middle school math teacher.
Okay, middle school math teacher. Thank you. Thank you for, continue to educate everyone out there that we need the teachers out there. Tough job. I as an educator, I know that's like one of the toughest jobs out there and they don't give us enough credit for what we do
Or
at all. Especially when you have children and you have to go home after dealing with someone else's children, but you go home to like the children that you can grasp onto and love, and like you go, wow, I got you to come home to.
mm-hmm.
So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So what was it like? I know you wrote this book and it was a journey. So how did this start? The process of this book? Because I mean, you had to go through this whole journey first before you got to this book, and I know you used real pictures
Yes.
in the book, and that made me like, oh wow, this is special because it
Mm-hmm.
is a story of healing because it is you all
Yes.
like you and your family in this.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. So, well, I've already shared that I'm a teacher. So, one of my biggest foundational principles is to empower people. So, I felt like through the journey, it took a lot of both of us coming out of our comfort zones, but I set the tone for how the journey was going to be. And so I felt that it needed to be one that was empowering. I wanted to encourage him, show him how strong he was, and not really lay down and have a pity party per se, but I wanted to magnify his strength through these moments. So I was able to do that by deciding that I would be fully transparent with him. So that's the whole empowerment part. And that was a big step. You're having to explain to a 5 year old that they have cancer. And, 5 year
Mm-hmm.
olds, if they know anything at all about cancer, all they know is that someone's sick and they don't have their hair. And they may
That's
even
it.
know that that death could possibly be involved. So those are like the three main things, but there's so many intricacies even in between that he needed to know about. And so I just decided for myself to make sure that I was very upfront with him with everything that we did, and that actually helped him anticipate what was about to happen.
Mm-hmm. So I know, as I started the book out, and I was like, why is it called Mondo's Mission? And I got to the end of like the middle of the book, and I was like, oh, now I know why it's called Mondo's Mission, and
Mhm.
understanding that this was his mission to thrive
Right.
through this tough situation, and he had the courage. And I have some notes that we're going to talk about later on, but I thoroughly enjoyed this book. But what was the most, like, you're in the hospital at that moment, and like why did you end up going to the hospital?
Well, I honestly thought that he had a bout of constipation because just one day we looked up and he was like, my stomach is hurting, and his stomach was distended. So I just automatically felt like, okay, you need a laxative, as a mom. And so I got him one, and it didn't work. He had done it for about a week. It didn't
Mm-hmm.
work, and one day he was experiencing pain. So if we picked him up, he would like arch his back so that his stomach wouldn't make any contact with our bodies.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, I knew something was wrong. But at the same time, I took him to the hospital. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, should I be here? This is crazy. They're gonna laugh at me. They put him in triage at first, and they said, "Oh, okay, we'll just get him an enema." And even in that moment, he had moments where he was happy. He was talking. He wasn't just like bent over in pain.
Mm-hmm.
So it was one point I looked over at him and I said, I'm leaving because I have other kids too. So I'm like, this is crazy. But literally, they decided to do an X-ray, and I
Mm-hmm.
could tell from the man who the technician, I could tell from his demeanor like something wasn't right. And they're not allowed to say anything, but
Not
eventually,
until the doctor comes into the room.
right? But the doctor, you would think he had never seen anything like that before. He just sat down like he just, oh my gosh, how did you not know? Like that was his first thing. He said that there was a mass there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I felt like really weak in my knees. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was crazy. So we went from thinking he had constipation to like a few hours later, we're on the oncology floor, like crazy, like literally being wheeled down the hallway, and we see children, pictures of children fighting cancer. It was a complete whirlwind.
Armando, can I ask you a question? In that moment, like I mean, you've gone through this journey now, and at that time, what was going through your brain? Because mom really doesn't like, you can talk to mom all the time and tell her like, this is what's happening, but she's not in your head. Like, you have so many thoughts going on. What were you thinking about?
I was thinking about if they were gonna give me needles.
Needles. I know that was the biggest thing in the. You weren't worried about anything else but those needles, and I think that shows how brave you are as an individual. Is you were going through this pain, but that wasn't the pain that was bothering you. The pain was bothering you was the needles that you were going to have to eventually go through. But you toughed it out, and I'm glad you braved and toughed it out. And so you go through this, and now you're in the hospital, like you're there, and all these people start coming in. All right, like you have a lot of people coming in, or just a few people coming in. Like, how do you both feel in that moment when like all of you are in this hospital there, and like how do you contact family in the moment, because was your husband there? Was anybody there besides you and Armando?
At first, no, it wasn't. And then, man, my husband was out of town because he was driving trucks. So he was like in like Utah or something. And then I called my close friends, and I'm like, I need y'all to get up here right now, and they did. So it was my friends are Glendale and Cheslon. They're a couple, so they came. So for a while, it was the three of us adults and my son.
Wow. Are you a children's book author with a story the world needs to hear? At the Reading Nest, we're always looking for heart-filled, imaginative, and beautifully written picture books to share with our young readers and their families. Whether it's your debut title or your 10th release, we'd love to help you get your book into the hands and hearts of more families. Send a copy our way, and you might just see your book featured in one of our Cozy Storytime episodes, where we highlight the magic of storytelling and all the love behind each page. If you're interested, click the link in the description below to get started. And let's grow little readers together, one story at a time. Bye. Hey, the power of friendship
Oh yeah.
and a community that helps out.
Oh yeah.
I try to tell everybody like people of I try to tell people of color are built on community, and
Mm-hmm.
we will be there no matter what for anybody through any time.
Oh yeah.
So I have some stuff like I do like what made you when I read the book and I went back through and I was like, what made you bold the words like cancer, uh, the electrocardiogram machine, and then you put the definition in it and then you showed it. I think that was just brilliant because it also is an educational book
Right.
as well as a healing book. So, what made you go through that process?
Well, I mean, I don't have a background, with any type of medical field or anything like that. And a lot of those terms, okay, we know about cancer, we may know about echocardiogram, even tumor, right? I know
Mm-hmm.
that on the surface level, but I had to break it down to him because
Mm-hmm.
he had to have, different scans, MRIs. They did have to do echocardiograms on his heart throughout the chemo process because, like, one of the medications damaged his, well, could potentially cause some damage to his heart. So they kept throwing all of these acronyms and machines and all these things at us. And so my son is one that he has to know what's going on. He has to know what's going on. So I felt like seriously through that process, I had to break down every single thing. We had multiple appointments that were going on, and all of the appointments were different sometimes. Sometimes in a day, we might see three different people, three different departments. So as he's getting these scans and he's going to go into this big machine, I have to tell him what it is, what the purpose is, and what the process is going to be like. And so the more I layered on that information for him, like I said, it made it, excuse me, easier for him. But we were really learning together. And I feel like it will lessen the load for someone going through this if they know what these terms mean.
I do I did like that you explained to him every step of the way, and every time you explained to him you put it in the book. But I also like that he was also very inquisitive about what is going on with his own body.
Mhm.
um and that's very intelligent for a 5 year old to say, what is this, what is that, why, and why are they doing this to me, mommy? And you didn't falter. You didn't even show him that you were like scared or anything in those moments. You, hey, Mandeaux, this is what we're doing. I'm going to explain it to you. We have to go through it. This is a process.
Mhm.
How did you hold yourself that rock? You had to be that rock for him until your husband got there.
Oh, oof. I did. It took him about 2 days because he had to, you know, no, no, maybe just over 24 hours. I can barely remember that, but in that moment, I did have my friends. People showed up like it was crazy. It was massive. At one point, we had like in one day we had about 70 people come visit. And in that window of time before, even when he was there, I still needed that support, because we would have to tag team. Like some moments, I just couldn't be in the room. I had to,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I had to just leave, or I had to go tend to a visitor or talk to a doctor. So he and I did tag team, but I just it was God Himself that held me together with that. There's no way I could have done that. I know when I think about it, there's no way I had that strength to do that. So yeah, that was it really. That's what held me together. I would cry at night also. Like
Mm.
I would do all of my crying at night when he was asleep. And I mean cry all night long. And then every time I woke up, we were about business because every morning, and it's funny because different surgeons and different entities will just bust in your room in the morning, and you just have to sit up and just be ready to hear what they're going to say. And so, I knew every morning, when the sun came up, it was time to be about business because there was a lot
Hmm.
of things that needed to be discussed. So
Were you still teaching during this time as well?
yes, ironically, when it first happened, it was like I want to say it was about 2 weeks before Christmas break. So the
Hmm.
timing was good. The timing was good. I missed 2 weeks of
Okay.
school. But so we were in the hospital for about 2 weeks, and then we had the break, and then we went right back to school. He and I both, we went right back to school. We had
I saw that y'all went right back to school right in because I'm going to get to you because the moment you went to school, Armando, that was that helped me because I have some people that I share that story with them because that was a different story because you are a brave young man to say that I'm going to go to school right after that and be okay. And we're gonna get there because it's so much happened. Like even the nurses that came in, and you wrote about the nurses and just the words that they used of encouragement and how they even said, "You are brave. You're being brave," and how they put it on him and not just saying, "Oh, you're being brave for mommy. Be brave for mommy," but they put it on you being brave. I just thought you capturing those moments between him and the nurses and him and that was special because you were an outsider looking in that moment.
right.
How did that feel to hear people that supportive and giving him that encouragement as well through, hey, we're trying to move and hustle through, but we also got to make sure that this 5-year-old is okay.
Yeah, it was an interchange of encouragement. So Dr. Mitchell, who's mentioned in the book, he gave me a lot of feedback too, just about he noticed what type of personality Armando had, you know, and he also encouraged me to keep a routine because you hear about that, you hear about a little 5-year old they're about to have chemotherapy and radiation and things, and immediately, and I didn't know what to think, but people would kind of project what they were thinking. They didn't mean any harm, but they were like, okay, he's not going to be able to go to school. He's not going to be able to do this. He can't do that. And I'm like, no, he's going to do what he can do. You know what I mean? And so we literally did keep our routine the same, our spiritual routine. He didn't play sports. That just wasn't a good idea. But
Hmm.
we kept our routine the same every single day. And the only thing that was different was he had chemo once a week, and it was at the end of the week. And so he missed those days or that one day. And then
Hmm.
he had the weekend to recover. And if he felt good on Monday, he went. And so most days he went to school.
Armando, I have a question for you. How was it going through uh that process, like the chemo process, like going through all of that? That's a tough, heavy pain for you. Like you are a strong individual, and being in class and talking about your story and owning your story. And I do appreciate your teacher for letting you own your story and tell your story the way that you needed to tell your story. And I commend her. And if you see her and she still is at the school you are, give her a big hug because that lady helped you understand how to own things for yourself. But your mom also helped you go through this progression of I'm going through chemo and I'm going to also lose my hair, right? You had to go through some things too. How did you feel having to go through your change because you're changing physically and mentally as well? I know these are some deep questions for you, but I think you got it.
Mm-hmm.
Really, I actually don't. You guys.
You want me to answer?
I don't know.
Well, how did you feel when you remember how you got your first haircut and we cut your hair down?
Yes.
And I told you because your hair would probably come out.
Okay. Yes, I do remember that.
Okay, talk about it.
Last time she said that, That was really, really sad.
You were really upset
Yep.
because it was your hair.
Yeah.
How was it going through the process of cutting your hair slowly though? Because you went through a process of getting your hair cut.
I mean,
And
I thought he was. I thought he was.
did you enjoy that process?
No, not one bit of it. Well, when he, at the end of the haircut, when he made me look in the mirror, that's when I got upset.
Mm.
Because we tried our best to, because you see he has curls, but we cut the curls off so that when his hair did come out, it wouldn't be dramatic. Like it wouldn't be patches and clumps of curls. But I remember one day, I actually had a moment where I'm like, oh, I don't think his hair is going to fall out. We can talk about that denial I went through in many occasions. But one day, I looked at him and I just saw like a little patch. And I think later on that day, he didn't see it. It was like in the back of his hair, and I didn't say anything to him. And then I saw another one because now at this point, it's just friction. Any level of friction, he could scratch his hair. And I just looked up and it was just patches. And then he went to bed that night. And when he got up, oh my goodness, like all the hair was on the pillow. It was so sad. I knew it was coming though. I knew it was coming. He knew it was coming, but I said, okay, sweetie, we got to get your hair cut, you know. But I don't think he believed it was as bad as he thought or as bad as it was because it was mostly in the back. So that's why he's saying he thought he was just getting a regular haircut. And
but he really didn't notice in the back that.
Right.
Wow. And but Dad cut his hair with you, right? Did you like that part? Yeah, he cut his hair with you. He had to, support, and that's very great. Like that's awesome that Dad supported you in that moment. Mm-hmm. Are you a children's book author, illustrator, or creative with a story behind the story? Come join me on The Reading Nest, our warm, welcoming podcast and YouTube series where we talk about books, the inspiration behind them, and what it really means to create for children. Whether you're launching a new project or reflecting on your creative journey, we'd love to shine a light on your voice. It's not just about the books, it's about building connections through storytelling. If you're interested, click on the link in the description below and let's talk about having you on the show. Until next time, bye. So, what in the moment that you now have like gone through this chemo and Armando, you're in class now. You're back at school. You've gone through all of this, and your teacher says, "Armando, tell the story." How do you feel? Like you're what, 5, 6, telling your story?
I'm 8.
No, when you were telling your story, you were still in kindergarten.
To your classmates.
Yeah, I was like 5 or 6.
5 or 6. Did you? Were you scared?
Well, she didn't really make me tell the story. She made me just come up and told my class what I had. Then I showed them the scar on my chest. Then I sat back down.
And they were very supportive in that moment because hey, they have to be, right?
Yeah, my teacher.
Because they're your family, they're your community that you see every day.
Yeah, my teacher let me wear a hat actually.
Okay. I just like that your teacher lets you own it for you and like, hey, classmates, this is what I'm going through. This is why I have to leave some days early. This is why I have to wear a hat. And your classmates started wearing hats with you because that's support.
Oh.
You have a very supportive community around you. What school do you go to?
Right now I go to Norton. When I was in kindergarten, I went to Grayson Elementary.
Grayson Elementary?
Yes.
Okay, I know where that is. Okay. I miss it. I miss Georgia. Like I do. I truly miss being in Atlanta, and I miss calling that home. I'm on Rhode Island now, so.
Where do you live right now?
Where do I live now?
Yes.
I live in Rhode Island. It's the smallest state in America. I literally can drive from the top of the state to the bottom of the state in about an hour and 10 minutes.
It's north.
North?
Not up there. But
No, north. You know where New York is?
Is it over there? Wait,
Kinda, yeah, kinda over there.
on my map it's
Yeah, on the map it's kinda over there. Yeah, there, that's right. That's right. When you finally like decided to, hey, I'm gonna write this book, what did your family think?
um, they were supportive of it, and it's funny because
Okay.
I started writing it before the journey was over. Yeah, I started
Mm.
writing it before the journey was over. They were very supportive, but my family knows how I am. They know I've written two other books prior to this one, and it's all
Okay.
about empowering. Like as a special education teacher, I used to be one. I was all about feeding my kids the information about them and not allowing adults to just talk over
Hmm.
them, but about them. So it was the same premise, the same foundation. So they were excited and happy, but
Hmm.
they just know who I am already, you know?
How did this when you as you're writing this book and you're going through this and writing this book, are you are you talking to someone? Are you talking to like are you going to talk to someone? Are you just using this book as like, hey, I'm healing with God, me, God, my family, my community. We're going to go through this together.
Oh, that definitely. But am I above a therapist? Not at all. Yeah, I have a
No, I'm yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I mean, most people like at that point, like, how do I deal with like my whole world was shaken up for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, like my whole world, and now I got to go through the process of like, okay, now I have to care for him again in like a different capacity of like, this is my baby,
oh yeah. Yeah.
like,
When you go through things like that, I definitely know it was God in my faith. I look back and people always say, "Oh, you're so strong, you're so this, you're so that," but I wasn't really walking in that journey. I was literally being carried. And my support system was like amazing, from my family and friends on the home turf to the people at my job. I feel very comfortable with Armando's teacher, and shout out to Miss Fernandez too, because that's her name, Miss Fernandez. She's in the book as well. But I never really worried about him. You know what I mean? Like, we already knew
mm-hmm,
what the situation was, and we knew what we had to do. And one thing that also helped me is the doctor, Dr. Mitchell, he laid everything out the same way that I had to lay everything out for Armando. Like, he told me everything. He was so
mm,
detailed. He let me know just the journey that we would have to go on down to the dates, and he was just very very descriptive. So I knew what was coming every time. So that really helped. That's just being in the know makes a big difference
mm-hmm.
about these types of things.
So you wrote two other books. What are those books about? Like, what are those books called? And where can we get those books?
Okay. So they're both on Amazon. And like I said, I wrote them from the perspective of a special education teacher. That's what I did previously. So the first one is called Learner Empowerment, the Guide to Your Individual Education Program. And so that's an IEP, and that's a specialized document that students with disabilities or differences use so that they can access the curriculum.
Mm-hmm,
So it's a document that generally is passed from teacher to teacher or parent to teacher and vice versa. And very seldom are the students stakeholders. And so they don't really know what's expected of them because they don't know what's in that document. So I felt like it would be better if they knew. And so this is a consumable book that they will utilize right alongside their IEP. And so They learn all about themselves. They learn how to become a part of that process so that teachers are not
Mm.
speaking on their behalf, but they are speaking to their teachers for themselves. And then the second one is how to write a viable IEP in 30 minutes, and that's for teachers. Now, 30 minutes is, kind of figurative, but the whole premise behind that is to empower teachers to not feel like they have to spend half their day or hours upon hours developing an IEP. So it
Mm-hmm.
just shows them how to get to the meat of it and make it easier, because I know the paperwork aspect of being a special education teacher sometimes is what drives people out of that field. But if they know how they can make it easier for them and even use that valuable information to inform their instruction and help their students, we can probably get them to stay. So that's also a consumable workbook that just helps them practice different parts of an IEP.
Thank you. I'm gonna actually check those books out for my school because I, yeah, it's some things that I need them to, be involved in.
Okay.
So what's next for the both of you with the book? What's going on next with the book? Are you gonna continue to advocate and be an advocate for this? And how are you doing your advocacy work if you are doing any advocacy work?
Well, I like just knowing that the story is there. You know, as an author, I realize that this type of story has more value in the experience and sharing the experience with others than the money itself. I've always thought that,
Mm-hmm.
and I like to donate the book to people, whenever I can. Right now, I'm trying to get it into the Gwinnett County Library. And I'm just taking my time with it. There's really no rush, but
Mm-hmm.
whenever we're able to share our story, we do. So we're just trying to be a pillar, for our community and our village and anybody going through the same thing, because it's exactly what we needed.
Mm-hmm. Armando, for anybody or any kid going through what you went through, what do you have to tell them, like in words of encouragement or something from your heart?
If I got through it, they can get through it too.
They can. They can. Well, I don't want to keep you guys too much longer. Thank you guys for joining me today. I really enjoyed this book, and I'm going to actually share this book with more people because I think this is a great book to share with people who might be going through this and they don't know where to start or how to even go through their own process of healing. It might inspire them to create their own book of, their journey. So thank you for sharing this with me and sending this to me, and I am going to pay it forward.
Thank you so much for having us and letting us share our story. And I just want to open it up to anybody who sees this or who gets the book. I am an open book, me. And if there's any questions or anything that anybody wants to ask, you can always feel free to reach out to me, via Instagram, Nickeva_Jones, Facebook, Nickeva Jones. I'm all for a discussion and doing whatever I can to help.
Thank you. So moms, dads, any family members who's looking for somebody to talk to while they go through their journey, please reach out to her. Thank you so much, Nickeva and Armando, for joining me here at the Nest.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Armando is a character.
Thank you. That was fun. Thanks so much for spending time with us here at the Reading Nest. Whether you joined us for a story or an inspiring conversation, we hope you leave feeling a little more connected, a little more curious, and ready to keep turning pages. Until next time, keep reading, keep imagining, and remember, every great adventure starts with a story. Until next time, bye.